G'day viewers. Well, as I continue with videos, attempting to make a video every day in October, the pressure's on. It's like, can I keep coming up with stuff that I want to talk about that's either topical or meaningful? And then the story breaks about Donald Trump being recorded saying how he is basically a fucking disgusting, sexist, misogynist, sexual assaulter. He just talks about, hey, you want women, you just grab them by the pussy. His literal words. He talks about, his literal words, trying to fuck a married woman. And his apologists are just so awful. Me, honestly, this is from about 10 years ago. Trump was recording a bit for a TV show, and he went into a van with a guy. It's not on camera, but he's wearing a hot mic, and it's still recording, and they're doing banter. And so here's the thing with a lot of his apologists going, oh, all men talk like that. Men talk about women like that. Men talk about who they want to fucking want to. No, he's not talking in the abstract. He's not saying, oh, women, oh, you just have to grab them by the pussy. He is talking about specific women and his chosen method of behavior. He's not speaking in the abstract, which would just be awful and misogynist. And honestly, if people were pushing it in terms of the election, that would be political game playing. No, he's saying that is literally what he does. That is how he chooses to behave. He is admitting to, he's boasting about sexual assault, criminal sexual assault. By definition, what he says, not waiting for them, not letting them have a way in it, forcing himself on them, forcing them to kiss him, groping them, trying to fuck married women. It's sexual assault, and he's boasting about it. And anybody who says he doesn't still think this way is a blatant and pathetically obvious liar. It's really bizarre. I read into this a bit. This was recorded for an NBC TV show, and they happened to dig it up. They thought, hey, remember when we had Trump 10 years ago, and he was a real fucking jerk? Is there anything on tape that would make for a story now? And they found it, and they were like, oh my God, that's pretty fucking full on. And they were not going to run with it until after the second presidential debate, which happened Sunday night, American time. Apparently someone at NBC thought that was kind of bullshit and Trump should be put on the spot for the debate because they leaked it to the Washington Post, who ran with it. And now Trump will have to face up to this. And it's blown up big time, to the point where the Republican Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan, has cut Trump out from an event he was meant to appear at Wisconsin. An enormous number of Republicans have just unequivocally said this is disgusting and unacceptable. An increasing number of Republicans are saying Trump should drop out of the presidential race. I assume that means let Mike Pence run as president. The interesting thing is that isn't possible, both because the Republican Party rules and some individual state rules. At this stage, so close to the election, no matter what happens to Trump, he will be on the ballot in most, if not all states as the Republican candidate. Like, if he dies, he will still be on the ballot, and there is historical precedent for that. See, what would be much simpler is if the election went on and, God forbid, nightmare scenario, he won, then he steps down and his vice president steps in. That's actually a comparatively simple process. In fact, I read something on this. The Christian evangelicals who support Mike Pence, they're like, he's our president. It doesn't matter yet. Trump getting elected is pointless. It gets Pence in there and Pence will be our president. I thought, are they going to murder Trump? Is that the plan? Like all the alt-right conspiracies about Hillary Clinton and the crazy lefties assassinating Trump, it sounds like the evangelicals are threatening to murder Trump. But they don't necessarily mean that. Of course, it's just Trump, if you believe some of the off-the-record comments people have made, Trump doesn't want to be president in the sense of working. He wants to be like the Queen Mother and just wave at the crowds and, in his mind, be idolised. And he wanted to let his staff actually do all the work. He doesn't want to do policy or work or anything. So Mike Pence, who is a nasty, homophobic, woman-hating piece of shit, which fits in with these awful evangelicals, he would be dictating what actually happened. which is a scary thought. And the evangelicals, this is one of those many cases where I look at them and I go, you are so lucky that shit you peddle is fucking fairy stories. Because if a tenth of what these evangelicals profess to believe and a tenth of what they preach was true, they would be going straight to hell. The idea of supporting someone as disgusting as Trump just to achieve your political goals is so appalling. It's like, yeah, it's right there. It's in the Bible. It's like, you can support the most disgusting, vile, awful person to get your ideology across. I mean, again, seriously, if their fairy tales were real, any of these people who are still supporting Trump, they die. They go to the pearly gates. The big book will be open. Oh, okay. You supported Trump in my name. You said I was responsible for that fucking garbage fire, that trash, vile, disgusting excuse for him. Straight to the hot place for you. Down you go. Express elevator, straight to the deepest pit of hell for you. So you're fucking lucky that it's all fairy stories. And that's the other thing. When I see these people, these preachers who in practice do awful things and promote awful things, I go, you actually know. You know nothing you say is true, don't you? Because you couldn't possibly fool yourself. You know there's nothing down the line. There is no judgment, because the judgment on you would be so fucking harsh. You would go to hell. Look, I have no idea how far this is going to sink Trump. If he loses significant support from women, like if, I'm not saying conservative women would vote for Clinton, but if they just abstain from voting, if Trump basically loses the white female vote, he's fucked. Like epically, historically, embarrassingly ruined in this election. Like would possibly lose every single state. It would be unprecedented. Remains to be seen, because again, Trump, I'm not even that shocked. I'm not that appalled. That's who he is. Anyone with a brain already knew that's how Trump thought, how it behaved. I mean, there are so many allegations of sexual assault, rape, and attempted rape against Trump. And it is important to note, accusation is not proof. Doesn't mean it happened. But there is stuff that he has to answer for, including one of the cases which looks like it might go to trial sometime after the election, is about the rape of a 13-year-old by Trump. And one of Trump's good mates from the time, who is a known pedophile, a convicted pedophile. And it's got a scary reek about it. And it's also worth noting, of the various women who have made accusations on Trump, stories they have told, which has been refuted, Trump wouldn't do that, are exactly how Trump himself describes his behaviour on this tape. So it's gone from, oh, these women are just making that up. Trump wouldn't do that. Trump literally boasts that he does that, and the people go, oh, that doesn't matter. All men do that. Oh, Bill Clinton. And how the fuck is Hillary Clinton responsible for what Bill Clinton may or may not have done decades ago? And this is the weird double think. You'll see Trump apologists going, that was 10 years ago. Why hold Trump responsible for what he himself boasted about 10 years ago? What you should really do is hold Hillary Clinton responsible for what her husband did 25 years ago. In their tiny little fucking pea brains, that makes sense. Oh, and another thing, this is one of my favourite comments I've seen on it, is the same people who are saying, all men talk like that. They're the ones who were pushing the hashtag not all men in the past. The hypocrisy is what really makes me sick. Look, and I want to finish on an up note. I'm going to give you something. There'll be a link below. It's hilarious. There's a woman called Ana Navarro, who's an actual Republican strategist. She's not a Clinton person. She's not a Democrat. She's a Republican. She's had enough of this shit. There's video of her going off on CNN saying, like, how the fuck are you going to stand there? And she didn't actually say how the fuck, but she said, how are you going to stand there and defend Trump going on about grabbing a woman's pussy? And another woman who's still a Trump apologist is going, oh, stop saying that word. That's, my daughter's watching. And Ana Navarro fucking loses it in a spectacular fashion and says, don't you tell me that it's disgusting that I say pussy when you're defending Trump when he said his default method of behavior is to grab women by the pussy. It's glorious. Watch it. And honestly, I don't know about you, but I'm getting a big bag of popcorn because I really want to see what happens in the next presidential debate.